Let me turn off the okay. How's everyone doing? The moves are addicting. It's literally so good. Like I watched the video of them, like the behind the scenes video of them choreographing it, like learning the choreography. And it's like it's such a good choreo. It's just it's so good. Still I love Cat's Eye, so we'll have to put up with it. Exactly. Have you seen Arsenide's new fic? I haven't. Guys, I keep telling you. There's like 3 fics I'm trying to keep up with, and even that is impossible for me. I'm good. I'm good, y'all. Like, for example, I read the first half of the new chapter of When the Sky Breaks West this morning. And oh my god, it's guys, Demo is such a good writer. Anyways, I'm reading that. I know If It's Nice Do It Thrice has a new chapter, so I'm like, guys, where am I supposed to go? It's called Gimme That Candy Floss, and it's broke college student Zoe and Sugar Mommy's mirroring room. Yes. I saw Jamie like posting about it, so like I know of it, but I haven't read it. Yeah, I can barely read two and then draw at the same time. Yeah. Oh, that's all good, Aitlin. Like, guys, I have to say this. These lives are not a priority in any of your lives, guys. Please go out, please touch some grass. You don't have to be here all the time. Hi, Danny. Yes, they are. No, they're not. I appreciate you guys being here. They're not a priority. I want I wait for these lives like food. Oh my god. What do you mean? I got nothing else important to do. Ah! Well, I appreciate it. It's just you don't have to be here. That's what I'm saying. Wait, what's Demos? I want to start reading their stuff. What's Demos fic? The fic that I was talking about is When the Sky Breaks West, and she also has another fic called The Space Between Three. That I was like messaging with the demo, and I was like, if you ever read one of my fics, I would love to be there. And I'm like, I will get to like other stuff eventually. I'm like not reading When the Sky Breaks West here, obviously, because of the heaviness of the subject. Um, but demo was like my other fic is like more like it would work for live. So I am gonna read The Space Between Three eventually, but we have a list. Have you read The Art of Spoiling Pretty Girls by Reef Writing? I will read that on live. I will read that on live because Reef is here all the time. Um, so what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna read Reef's other stuff by myself, but I am gonna read The Art of Spoiling Pretty Girls on live. So I think I'm gonna do that after the Unchanging Polaris because Reef has been here a lot. And I'm like, I wanna read something you wrote, dude. I currently have a 5-year-old using me as a jungle gym. Oh my god. I hope there's no. I will try not to curse if you have a 5-year-old with you. I've been so stuck on Two's Company. It feels like I can't read anything else sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it does feel like that. Hi, hi, as roses fall. I have my headphones on. Okay, that's good. But just the image of like the 5-year-old on you is really funny. Um. I think my parents are sick of me talking about your lives. I think my parents are sick of me talking about my lives. So, I'm sorry. I'm sitting I'm sitting in my despite the fact that I haven't eaten lunch. Oh my god. I talk about it when I'm grabbing dinner. Also, you can just call me Rose. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Rose, okay. Zin, by the way, after I'm done with this, I'll probably read your fanfic. I'll read that at the end of the stream. I saw that it's like 900 something words, so it's very doable. Um, and I saw the beginning of it, and I'm like, someone did their research. Okay, I'm gonna get started. I'm really excited for this. I need silly, more fluffy stuff right now. So I don't mean to say that I don't appreciate the angst, but sometimes a girl just needs her fluff, you know? Oh my god, it's impossible to. Come over here. Okay. Yeah, I read it. It's really good. I still can't believe Polytrix Fic count bit Ruginu. The thing is, we the Polytrix people saw that Ruginu was beating out Polytrix and were like, we gotta do something about this. We gotta do something about this. So I'm not super surprised. It's just great that it's like a poly ship that's like doing this. That's really awesome to me. Also, my hair is just like that, but you gotta deal with it because it doesn't want to go anywhere else. So what is already I'm reading the Unchanging Polaris. It should be in the title. Also, my lives still have like a +18 rating on it. Like it won't allow users under 18 to access the live. I cannot change that. Like I saw that and it won't let me press the button. So I'm sorry if that is like causing an issue to you. I don't know how to change it. What chapter? Yes, there is a title. I'm on chapter 3. So let me actually go to chapter 3 right now. And the chapter title is #Team Zomira. See, I'm up to do some shipping wars stuff, you know? That is fun. That is fun. I'm excited. Oh, Artie, I saw you in Ray Ami's live the other day. Oh yeah, I was in Ray Ami's live. Ray Ami's live is so hectic though. Like Ray Ami's live is just like her like checking the chat and like as it like speeds by so fast, but there was a point where she was talking about like bullying, like this person I think wrote in the chat that they were getting bullied or something at school, and she was like, you don't deserve that, and that's a product of like insecurity and like in their own lives. So I was like, I really appreciate that. She's awesome. I love her. Do you have full reactions to chapter 1 and 2? By the way, there's only a few minutes each on YouTube. I have it on my phone. I know that the YouTube live was really annoying. I need to like download it on my phone. If you would like to see it, I need to download it on my phone and upload it, which is really annoying. Like I still need to download yesterday's live, even though that's like on the shorter side. It was like an hour and a half, but I still have to do that, and I will do that. I will do the Unchanging Polaris. I will upload that one because the YouTube live was annoying. It was really annoying. So, speaking of the YouTube live, I'm not giving up on the YouTube live. I hope it's always a Wi-Fi issue. Oh, I thought I missed the live where you read another chapter of this fic. Yeah, I read the first 2 chapters last week. So, that's such a good chapter. It only hurt a little. Okay. I'm gonna get started. So this is chapter 3, #Team Zomira. And the notes say, next few chapters are what I call their oblivious, slightly jealous arc, and you'll see what I mean. So, seems like it'll be a little angsty, but I like it when it gets a little dramatic, you know? Zoe's obsession with the shipping wars gets to them too. It spreads like a damn cold. Rumi's prediction of the shipping wars only lasting a week or so is a false accusation to make to the highest degree. It's been almost a month, and it has yet to let up in their notifications and trending tags. In fact, it just seems to plague them more. At least it does for Rumi. She had to turn off her notifications altogether for every single platform that she's on due to all the noise about it. If it wasn't Polytrix, it was some other ship that her fans have been wanting to push her against like a play doll. There's even been an influx of her and he who shall not be named. And it was something that, unfortunately, Rumi can't get away from entirely. Why are we so mean to Jinu? I know what Jinu did. I know what Jinu did. He did some bad things. I still like Jinu. I don't care. It follows her on the streets, in interviews, during performances, and undercovers she posts on their YouTube accounts. That is like me when I post any video and people are always like, "Oh my god, new chapter is out, new chapter is out." Guys, okay. But she tries to emulate her own advice anyway. Don't let it show that it bothers you. Even just one twitch of the eyebrow could cause another hurricane of people theorizing that she was in love with one boy group member, or Zoe, or Mira, which was ridiculous because she would never. Why would she ever? Her alarm clock rings hard against her ear, and Rumi hardly jumps. She rolls over onto her shoulder. Guys, thank you for the gifts. Oh my god, Zen. She rolls over onto her shoulder and hits the top of it with her fists. She groans lightly under her breath as she sits up, scratching an itch somewhere on her back. Rumi doesn't bother to check her phone for the time. She's already been lying awake in bed for the past hour, staring at the ceiling. It's the downside of being a morning person, she supposes. She'd gone to bed late yesterday, but her body refuses to let her sleep in, no matter how tired and achy her bones are. Rumi looks over at the empty space next to her on the giant bed. It makes her frown, just enough for her to feel the tug of it on her lips. She could have sworn she'd fallen asleep with Mira and Zoe lately. Wait, where'd they go? It's crazy that in this fic they are like sleeping together, but they're not dating. It's so girls. Rumi stretches her arms up above her head as she saunters out of bed. She slips her feet into her fuzzy slippers, the ones that Mira had gotten her for last Christmas, and walks out of her room. It's cold in the apartment during these kinds of early mornings. She's grateful that Zoe had lent her a hoodie before she fell asleep. The sounds of her slippers echo over the tiles. She makes her way to the kitchen without tripping on anything this time, and she turns on the coffee maker to get her day started. Her lower back is starting to itch again. Rumi scratches the spot with a happy smack of her lips. Thank God for Bobby giving them mercy and clearing most of their day to let them rest. She only has to worry about a quick shoot later in the night. Maybe she could spend the rest of her day hanging out with Mira and Zoe, if they don't have anything to do either. She opens the fridge and squints. They're running low on, everything, it seems. Maybe she should spend the day grocery shopping with them. She could always go by herself if they were busy, but she would never turn down the company. They make even the most mundane tasks fun, even laundry. The thought brings a faint smile to her lips. She owns the cupboards to grab... What? She opens the cupboards? I think there's a typo. She opens the cupboards to grab 3 cups, then places one underneath their fancy coffee maker that Bobby presented to them as a seventh consecutive Idol Awards winning gift. Rumi goes to check Mira's room. Maybe they fell asleep trying to go over some lyrics together. The time in the hallway tells her that it's barely 6 in the morning, and she purses her lips. She knows for a fact that they won't like her waking them up so early. The thought of letting them sleep in for longer crosses her mind, but she stamps it down with the reasoning that they need to get used to waking up early this week, considering that they had a lot of recording to do early in the mornings next weekend. She's doing them a favor by waking them up. Early morning recordings sound like a fucking nightmare. At least that's what she tells herself. It's definitely not because that clingy, whispery part of herself wants to spend the early morning with Zoe and Mira. Never. They aren't in Mira's room. She raps on Zoe's door next, but they aren't there either when she pokes her head inside. She has to press her lips together to keep from smiling. She knows exactly where they are if it wasn't here. And if that's where they ended up sleeping, then maybe she should let them rest after all. She can't imagine how stiff their shoulders must be right now. It doesn't take long for her to find out that she is right. The couch was, after all, just a meager walk away from their rooms. They're sleeping on the couch together, eyes still slit shut and snoring away with the gentle rise and falls of their chests. Zoe's sleeping on top of Mira, curled up like a cat. Meanwhile, Mira has one arm slung around Zoe's waist, protectively keeping her in place like she wanted to make sure Zoe wouldn't fall off the couch, which unfortunately has happened before. One of Mira's legs is dangling off the bed, and Zoe's arm is limp out to the side. They look as if to be dreaming well. Rumi glances at their giant flat screen TV. It's turned on, but it's cycling through their static screensavers from a streaming service. She gently exhales through her nose, amused. She takes the remote from the floor next to Mira's hand and clicks around on it. The last show they were watching was one of her older acting projects. Something something business and proposal or whatever. The business proposal reference, that's a good one. That's really good. It was so old that even looking at the thumbnail of herself makes her cringe. But a smile makes its way up to her face anyway. It's a little ridiculous to think that they would want to watch her cringy debut acting projects, but it's so very Mira and Zoe that she can't help but feel warm at the thought of it. Guys, little lore drop. I this was like 3 years ago. So I'm an actor. I'm an actor, but 3 years ago I was a very, very bad actor. But I was attending this acting studio where we had the chance to we had a class where we could bring in any script and film anything we wanted. So what I ended up doing is I took one of my friend's fanfics that he wrote, and I adapted it into kind of a short film script. It was like a 3-minute thing. But I turned it into a script and I filmed it. It was all gory and shit. It was I had fake blood on my fingers because my character had just killed his dad and is coming to his, I guess, love interest in this, and is I killed my dad. And this is reminding me of the cringe of watching that back, but also it was so fun to do that I don't even well, it was cringe, whatever. I did it and I had fun, and I made my screen my co-actor, I guess, read the fanfic as well. So it was just really funny. Hi, Cheeky. Back in my day, yeah. Oh my god, Cheeky. It's 121 over there, which isn't that bad, but I still feel bad. Oh, I just muted my first spam bot. Yay! Let's go, Dan. Everyone thank Danny for modding these streams now. Everyone say thank you, Danny, for modding the streams. Okay. Anyway. My friend, by the way, who wrote the fanfic has still not seen that because he is cringed out by his own writing. So he hasn't seen it. Oh, okay. Zoe stirs. She hears the breathy whine come out of Zoe's lips, and she freezes where she is. Zoe's face scrunches up. Like a kitten, she coos to herself until it relaxes, and she rolls over her shoulder in her sleep to face away from her. Mira breathes in deeply, then exhales hard. They're both still deep asleep, just slightly disturbed. Rumi knows the culprit the moment she looks at the floor. The bright sunlight is spilling out between the folds of their curtains, and it slices over Zoe and Mira's eyes. She sighs through her nose, fond, and walks around the living room. She finds her thick blanket draped on another chair, and she takes it in her hands to bring it over to them. As quietly as possible, Rumi tosses a blanket out over their bodies to let it float and spread. It gently descends, wrapping Zoe and Mira in its weighty embrace. Zoe nuzzles closer under Mira's chin. Rumi closes the curtains further. It darkens the room enough that her eyes have to adjust again, but at least Zoe and Mira aren't grimacing anymore. The sound of the coffee maker beeping gets her attention. She glances at Zoe and Mira to make sure it hadn't bothered them, but the pair seem to be comfortable where they are. She should be getting the coffee now before it gets too cold. Cold coffee is always a bad start to a morning, she finds. And so, she doesn't know what possesses her to do it. Instead of making her way to the kitchen, Rumi walks over to the couch and kneels by their faces. She watches, lips set in a thin line, and her hands squeezing her knees. It's something about the curve of Mira's nose and gentle rise of Zoe's shoulders as they breathe together in tandem that she can't look away from. Something about these early morning rituals, in the way she can watch them for a little while without the brush of loneliness getting to her again. It's something she never wants to give up. A strand of no. It's something. Oh my god, I lost my TikTok did something and I lost my place. Nor in the way she can watch them for a little while without the brush of loneliness getting to her again is something she never wants to give up. A strand of pink hair falls over Mira's eyes. Without hesitation, Rumi reaches over to tuck it behind her ear. The graze of her knuckles against Mira's cheekbone makes Mira gently shiver in her sleep. Rumi memorizes this peaceful picture of them in the forefront of her mind, then rises to tend to her coffee and their breakfast. They will never know about this little ritual of hers. She hopes they never do. It feels selfish, but it's the only secret she ever wants to keep from them for now. Just this one. Rumi blows on her coffee and takes a few paltry sips. She breathes in deep and closes her eyes, allowing herself to sink into the temporary repose that it gives her. Her fingers flit over the smooth countertops, and it centers her to her day. Contrary to popular belief and what everyone says about her online, Rumi's not much of a party girl. She'll smile and joke and chat away on camera if she has to, but that's only because it's something that's been disciplined into her since she could learn how to walk and talk. Charming people and entertaining a crowd of 50,000 people is easy, but that requires at least an hour of meditation in her apartment. After a few more sips of her coffee, Rumi sets it down on the counter and lines up the two other mugs near the coffee machine. She'll start it up again when they wake up, just to save them the disappointment of having cold coffee. Rumi tiptoes around the kitchen to keep from waking up the two nearby, and she pulls out a pan and a couple of utensils to start on breakfast. She remembers something about how Mira was looking at French toast recipes on her timeline. Mira hadn't said anything about them, per se, but she noticed how she'd linger on the glamour shots. Even though she hasn't made them in a while, Rumi tries her hand at it. If they complain, well, they can just order something else and leave her cooking alone. They never complain anyway. Rumi pulls out 3 plates next to the stove. She sticks her tongue as she stacks each piece of bread, making a tower for every plate. All of the rejected pieces, the ones that are a little too charred or too mushy, go on her plate. She hums a song that her earphones are gently playing in her ears. It's one of Zoe's recommendations. It would be blasphemous to ever reject one of Zoe's recs. After the last piece of French toast sizzles on the stove and gets placed on Mira's giant tower, Rumi turns off the heat and puts her hands on her hips to grin proudly at her creation. They should really pay her for making breakfast all the time, she thinks to herself. Well, maybe not monetary. She already has enough of that. Maybe something like. Rumi shakes away the thought before it can dig its talons into her brain. God, the internet really was ruining her. She blames Zoe. Girl, please. Polytrix really is the densest material on Earth. I love that tag. Oh my god. My computer just started acting weird. Oh, no, no, no. Oh my god. Hello? My computer loves to glitch on these streams. Let me plug this in. Oh my god. Also, there's no chapter breaks in this fic, so I never know like when to take a break. But I guess that's a freaking break. Genu possessing your computer again. This makes me realize I need to start reading my writing out loud again to double check. It helps. It does help. Um, like I said before, I'm very forgiving of typos. Like, especially with Jamie, I keep like seeing their tweets being like, oh, this chapter went over 20k words again. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. No, fanfic authors are crazy and like they're pumping out a lot of stuff. So I am very forgiving of typos. She pushes each plate in front of the chairs on the kitchen island. She takes a seat on one, then slides her laptop closer to her to open it. Rumi doesn't dare touch her French toast, at least not until the pair had woken up to eat with her. She made that mistake a long time ago, and she still winces at the seemingly hour-long lecture from them about needing to eat together, and what if it starts with missing breakfast together, then it morphs into never hanging out together, then we die, then... Rumi clicks over to her emails first. She props her chin on her hand and yawns. There isn't anything fun coming from her email, but that's to be expected. Just some overly dedicated fans who have gotten hold of her email somehow, some forwarded stuff from Bobby for her to approve, and some news about sales going on at her favorite stores. She types away at her laptop, hunched over and a little tired. She really wants to be doing something else right now, like checking social media. That little demon nags behind her ear. I know you want to. She does. But the blame comes from the temptation of a demon, obviously. But what if she just quickly checked what was trending right now? Surely it was a good thing to know what's catching the public's eye for today. She grinds her teeth together until her jaw twitches, and she shakes her head. Rumi scolds herself for even thinking it, then continues to type away at her laptop. The reprimand doesn't last for long. After sending out the fifth boring email of the day, Rumi closes out of her email tab and opens up one of her social media websites. She clicks around until it takes her to the trending tab. Her heart is beating hard in her chest. The adrenaline mixes with the caffeine in her system until it gives her a rush and... What you doing? Rumi physically yelps, and she jumps almost 2 inches off her seat. Her hand slams down hard on her laptop until it closes with a thump, and she turns around to face a confused, sleepy Zoe. Zoe! She squeaks. She squeaks. What are you doing here? We smelled food. Mira pipes up. Sorry, that wasn't the Mira voice, sorry. We smelled food. Mira pipes up, her voice deep with sleep. The demon in Rumi whispers, her voice sounds kinda... Until she waves it away frantically. Hey! We love deep voice girlies. You know what? Deep voices are hot. They are. Mira yawns and massages the pad of her thumb next to her eye. You should have woken us up. We could have helped. Mira scolds. It's early, Rumi persists. She leans on the countertop to look between them. They both look incredibly groggy, and she has to press her lips together to keep from smiling. It's cute. I wanted you guys to sleep in a little today. I know yesterday was kinda all over the place. Oh, Rumi, these look so good! Zoe whines, her sleepy eyes widening at the stack of French toast on the counter. She surges forward to wrap Rumi in a hug. Rumi can hardly breathe out her gentle laugh with how hard she's squeezing her. Thanks for making breakfast, Mira says evenly, but her hungry stare directed at her stack of French toast lets Rumi know that she's very thankful. Rumi juts her chin over at the chairs with a chuckle. Come on, eat up. I'll make you guys some coffee. They don't even try to interject. They scramble over to the chairs, letting the legs screech over their polished floors without a care in the world. They bicker over the syrup and the butter, and Rumi doesn't even try to tell them that there was another bottle of syrup in the fridge. She puts their steaming cups of coffee in front of their faces, all curated to the way they like them. It's still never-endingly amusing to her that Zoe likes her coffee black and that Mira likes it with lots of cream and sugar. Of course, that's the way it works. So, what are you looking at? Sorry, her mouth is full. So, what are you looking at? Zoe asks her mouth stuffed with toast. Rumi slides in the chair between them. Her laptop is still on the countertop, just pushed further out to make room for her toast. She slices up a piece of her fork and knife as she slowly answers. Just work stuff. Work stuff? Mira asks with a snort. She's pouring more syrup all over her toast, drowning it in its sticky flavor. What kind of work stuff has you slamming your laptop? Rumi tries to rake her mind for a lie, and the best she can come up with is, our renewal contracts? The lie is so blatant that even Zoe chokes on her toast to laugh. Rumi deflates. She knew that she wouldn't get away with lying to them as easily as she had before everything. Um, as she had before everything, lying to... Oh, okay. What? Sorry, sometimes... She knew that she wouldn't get away with lying to them as easily as she had before everything. Lying to them in general was a sin. She huffs and pokes her toast around her plate, then admits, I was checking what was trending. Mira raises an eyebrow at her while she chews. I didn't look yet, Rumi defends, as if it would make her look any better. I was about to, but I was going to stop myself. Right, Mira says slowly. Zoe has a different reaction. She squeals in delight and she brings her chair closer to Rumi so that she could snatch up her laptop and open it up. Rumi doesn't even try to stop her. Whatever Zoe puts her mind to, she will end up finding a way to do it. Whatever happened to impulse control? Rumi tries. I do have impulse control, Zoe says with a bob of her head. She types in Rumi's password, Huntrix Girls to the World 123, obviously, then adds proudly, my impulse control just says that we don't need to control this impulse this time. Beggar line. She taps on Rumi's trackpad definitively. It loads in the trending page, and all three of them lean in to watch with bated breaths. Hashtag Polytrix is no longer at number 1. Rumi breathes her sigh of relief too soon because it sits at number 2, only dethroned by hashtag Zomira. Whoa! Zoe exclaims with a giggle. She doesn't seem at all disturbed by it. Rumi eyes her warily. Her eyes slide over to Mira next, morbidly curious. There's something wedged in between her ribs that she doesn't particularly like. It makes it a little hard to breathe, and she has to manually let her body to breathe in and out. Mira doesn't say anything at first. She just angles the laptop closer to her while she calmly chews on her toast, then puts her finger on the trackpad to click on the hashtag. It just takes a little bit longer to load in this time, but what greets them is an onslaught of memes and videos and Zoe and Mira. Just Zoe and Mira. Huh, is all Mira says. Rumi can't make out her tone. Is she disappointed? Upset? Sad? Giddy? What does she want Mira to think? Why are we even trending? Zoe asks, and Rumi knows her well enough to know that her voice is pitched just slightly higher than it should be, but she just doesn't know why. Zoe leans in closer to the screen and squints. Did something happen? Isn't this something the both of you should know a little bit about, considering it's about you two? Rumi asks them, bewildered. She looks back and forth between them, desperately trying to make out what kind of air hangs in the kitchen. Zoe shrugs. Well, the internet can be a weird, dark place, she says seriously, nodding to herself. She stuffs some more French toast in her mouth, and with her cheeks still full, she adds, and weird things trend for whatever reasons. Mira hums in acknowledgement and agreement. She puts 2 fingers on the trackpad to scroll through the page. She's scrolling so fast that Rumi can hardly read some of the posts that they run by. But she gets the gist. A lot of their fans are just gushing about how cute Zoe and Mira are, how they seem to complement each other in everything, how they seem to be 2 peas in a pod, how they're a duo within a trio. Rumi clears her throat. She shifts in her seat. But neither Zoe nor Mira seem to pay that any mind. They're too entranced with the posts to notice it. She idly brings some toast into her mouth to chew on. Wait, Zoe says quickly, and Mira pauses. She makes some sort of hand motion. Go back, I think I saw something. Mira scrolls back to the page. Zoe makes a stopping hand motion. The 3 of them lean in to check out the video that they seem to have nearly missed. Then, they finally understand where the fuss had come from. Dispatch had posted a video. It currently stands at nearly 500,000 likes. It's always Dispatch on the scene. God damn it. Goddamn Dispatch. Oh my god. It's a little more so on the blurrier side, but Rumi can still make out the contents of the video. She would be an idiot not to recognize Mira's gorgeous pink hair or Zoe's adorable tendency to bounce on her heels while she walks. The camera is pointed at their backs as they walk away. Rumi's gaze naturally drops down to their hands, intertwined, holding tight, and swinging back and forth like a giddy, puppy lovey-dovey couple. The video doesn't even end there. It only stops when Mira leans over to Zoe, and Zoe turns her head to lend it to her, and Mira nibbles on her ear! Whoa, guys, what? That's wild. You were doing this in public? Of course they are doing this in public. What do you expect? Rumi has known them a lot longer than most people on the globe, but even she was beginning to have some doubts. That was very... wow, gay, Zoe says blatantly. That looked really gay, Mira. Oh my god. Straight best friends, good friends, great friends, 2 best friends. They were best friends. They were sisters, even. They were very close. It's always fucking Dispatch. Funniest fic ever. I die laughing. You know what? We needed this. We needed this. Okay. Mira turns to look at her so sharply, syrup and crumbs still smudged on the corner of her mouth, that Rumi splutters with a small laugh. You were there, Mira argues, setting down her fork. It clatters. You knew I didn't do that. Do what? Rumi asks. Her brow is knitted tight in confusion. She was just whispering to me. Well, of course, but when it's blurry, I understand why it looks like that. And it's fucking Dispatch. Like, Dispatch will do it. She was just whispering to me. Zoe explains to her casually, stuffing more food in her mouth. Mira has to take over from there when Rumi helplessly looks at her for more. We were coming home from our sorry, this is Mira. We were coming home from our dance rehearsals, and you weren't there because you went home early after you got a notification that Derpy broke one of our lamps again. Mira explains. She pinches the bridge of her nose and closes her eyes. If it's because she's irritated or it was merely to conjure up the memory, Rumi can't tell. And we were holding hands because it was cold. Then I just leaned over to whisper to her. She finishes with a shrug. What were you whispering about? Rumi automatically asks. Her suspicion is edged in her weird tone, and she cringes. She doesn't even know why she said it like that. Mira stops chewing to look at her weirdly, but Zoe answers first. Zoe answers cheerfully. She wanted to ask me if I wanted to watch your photo shoot later today, and I was like, yeah, obviously. That makes Rumi laugh, even though the broad expanse of her chest feels oddly stiff. Lead photographer, lead photographer, bleh. Lead photographer told me that I can't have anyone else in the room with me when we shoot. Oh, sorry, that was Rumi, sorry. It's hard when it's like different character. Lead photographer told me that I can't have anyone else in the room with me when we shoot, she says, and Zoe visibly deflates. Sorry, Zoe. Aw, man, she groans, and Rumi squeezes her thigh with a chuckle. Are you going to send us the pics first? Mira asks. Rumi has to roll her eyes at that. The answer is obvious, but she still says, yeah, of course. You know I'll send it to you guys first. Mira merely smirks at her, then pierces some more toast onto her fork to eat it up. They eat in silence for a little while, the sound of their chewing and humming filling the kitchen, before the curiosity gets the best of her and Rumi blurts out, I wonder why the hashtag got viral so fast, though. That video was just from last night. Zoe shrugs and scrapes the last of her toast off her plate. Before she plops the rest of it onto her tongue, she answers, trends. They're just weird like that. And Rumi can't help but think, maybe it's because they see something that we don't. Mira thankfully speaks up before she falls into the rabbit hole of her own head. Mira snorts under her breath, then lazily says, can't believe we're getting shipped when me and Zoe are just like super close friends. What, no one's ever had super close friends before? You guys sleep together. We are not the same. Rumi chuckles lightly along with her, then asks, so, like sisters? It almost startles her how quickly Mira and Zoe clamp their mouths shut. They both look at her with the same kind of stare, like they can't decide what to say to themselves. It almost unnerves her. But then Zoe laughs it off, albeit a little more loudly than usual, then says, the ship is just so weird. I mean, hashtag Polytrix was fine because I can see why everyone would think we want a piece of each other's. Piece of each other's fine. Zoe, it's 7 a.m, Mira warns lightly. Zoe swerves around it and finishes. But I don't see why they need to single me and Mira out. Like, what's there to ship? Right, Rumi? Rumi thinks about it. She thinks about how they look at each other after they accidentally say the same thing or make the same joke, how Mira's face always seems to glow under that softer, gentler light around Zoe, how Zoe always giggles just a tiny bit more when it's Mira making the joke, and how, even just that very morning, they slept on the couch together, intertwined, holding tight, a puppy love couple in the making. But Zoe and Mira are still looking at her with those expectant looks, and Rumi says, yeah, it definitely came out of nowhere, agreed. Her mouth feels weird right after it spills out. She clears her throat right then. Hey, she starts, and she hates how awkwardly it comes out. Since there isn't anything on our schedules until later tonight, I was thinking we could hit up a store and grab some groceries or something. She wanted to tack on and she wanted to tack on and hang out, but that felt a little, well, weird, maybe. Why would it why would it be? She hisses at herself. Mira hums to that. She still has a few more perfect squares of toast left, and she arranges them around on her plate as she answers slowly. Zoe and I have to work out some kinks in one of our choreographies. Something akin to a kick hits Rumi in the ribs. But we were going to wait until you leave for your photo shoot, so it shouldn't even matter. Why tell me that? Rumi wants to ask, but it sounds petty even in the back of her head. Guys, Rumi is so real. If you've been left out, if you've been left out of plans, oh my god, I get her so bad. Um, Wanna go after we eat? Mira finishes succinctly. It takes a moment longer than usual for Rumi to realize that they're still looking at her for an answer. Oh, yeah, of course, Rumi says quickly. She stabs her toast just a tiny bit too hard. Zoe hops off her chair to pick up her empty plate, then takes Mira's. She's practically glowing with excitement as she chimes, "Groceries with the girls! Oh yeah, oh yeah! Oh yeah, or something like that. Mira makes a noise in the back of her throat and she slams her head on the counter to get Zoe's attention while she tries her best to chew as fast as possible. When she swallows, she excitedly says, "That one brownie recipe you saw last night, we can get the ingredients today." Zoe lights up. "Oh my god, the chili chocolate brownies?" she asks with a small squeak. She drops the plates in the sink. If they're still intact, Rumi can't tell. And runs over to Mira to look her in the eyes. "You're serious? You want to make it with me?" "You're kidding," Mira says flatly. Her lips are curled with the pleasure, though. "It's spicy and sweet, and you don't think I want to try it?" "I was checking," Zoe says defensively, but she giggles and peppers a few kisses on the side of Mira's face before darting off to clean the dishes. Mira and Rumi share a look. They're a little exasperated, but they're smiling. Mira gets up from her chair and picks up Rumi's plate the moment she plops the last piece of toast in her mouth. Rumi opens her mouth to argue, but Mira, oh my god. Sorry. Oh my god, I don't wanna do anything. Okay, that live went on for like 47 minutes. My Wi-Fi is gonna drive me crazy. Let Rumi be petty. No, exactly. They are so dense. They are so dense. Total watch time. Okay, dismiss. Oh my god. Oh god, I'm just everything is so hard. I do think my previous Unchanging Polaris live was recorded in full though. This is so stupid. Like why? Like why? And then kick me out. Why? Moderator Danny pinned a comment. Oh yeah. Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much, Danny. Oh, I thought I put it in the title. Do you guys not see a title? Like reading the Unchanging Polaris? I don't know how it... I'm trying to like remember the lives I've been in. And like if there was a title. Because it always asks me to title the lives. And if you're not seeing the title, then what is it for? It's so stupid. Like what? Oh my god. Ooh. Yeah. I just click your profiles, lol, and I would go straight to your live. I guess. I don't know. It's still weird that like it doesn't show. I didn't see the TikTok notification. I only knew because of the YouTube again. That's so weird. Guys, TikTok is so Unreliable. Oh, anyway. Okay. Or if you're viewing in the web browser. Oh, I think you only see the title when you first open the live. Perhaps. Nah, bro, say. I was just scrolling and you showed up. Oh, that makes sense too. That does make sense. Anyways, I just think it's stupid that it doesn't show the title. Like because when I like posted it on Twitter, it does like say the title like reading the unchanging Polaris. It does say it in the like invite link, but it's so weird that it doesn't say it on the live itself. Like, girl, you had one job. TikTok, you had one job. Like, what the hell? Anyways, let's keep going. Okay. They're a little exasperated, but they're smiling. Mira gets up from her chair and picks up Rumi's plate the moment she plops the last piece of toast in her mouth. Rumi opens her mouth to argue, but Mira hushes her with one passive look. The plate gets taken over to Zoe for cleaning, and Mira situates herself next to her with a clean rag to do the drying. And Rumi stands there, feeling a little lost. She watches as Zoe and Mira chat a little bit more about the brownies, then other brownie recipes, then combinations from milk and fruit juices, then dancing and rapping and other things that seem to pop into their heads, all in the span of a couple minutes. Zoe ADHD reps so real. Conversation just comes so easily between the two of them, and Rumi is left behind by the counter. Guys, I'm being called out. I'm being called the fuck out. Like, this is the, like, socially awkward friend experience. The fuck? I didn't say. Oh my god. My Wi Fi is so stupid. Anyway, yeah, anyways, I'm being called out by this roomie, and I'm always, like, called out by the roomies, because I'm very much a roomie. But, like, oh my god. She tries not to let it get to her. They spent a majority of their years together, with Rumi locking herself behind closed doors. Of course they'd be more comfortable around each other than with Rumi. She shouldn't take it personally. It was, after all, entirely her fault. Wumi, no! So Rumi slides off the chair, squinting at the couch in the near distance to see if there's anything there for her to clean up. She can get started on changing the throw pillow covers, since there's nothing else for her to do. But as soon as she steps out towards the living room, she hears Zoe call, "What do you think, Rumi?" Huh? She spins on her heel to look at them. They're both looking at her, dishes clutched in their hands and elbows rubbing close. It's their smiles that disarm her in the end. It's open and warm, like they want her to come in between them to help with the dishes and talk. So she does. She walks over to them and beckons for one of the cups to clean up. All while Zoe explains, "We were talking about what sounds better to serve for dinner if you had to pick one. Cake, cookies, or brownies. What would you pick?" I can't pick anything out. I can't pick anything else? Rumi muses. "Nope," Zoe says, throwing her that wolfish grin like she had caught her in her trap. "You have to eat one of the three, or else you have to skip on dinner." I would just starve. Mira deadpans. Rumi jabs her lightly in the rib, and Mira snickers. Rumi deliberates on her choices, taking it as seriously as she can, then says, "Maybe cake? Because you didn't say what kind of cake I can have, so I would just do like an carrot cake?" Huh, smart, Mira says, looking genuinely impressed. She places one of the plates on the drying rack in front of her. Then Rumi hands her another one. I was just going to say cookies, because then I would put meat between the cookies like a sandwich. Ew! It depends. Is it? It can be a savory cookie, I guess. Rumi and Zoe wrinkle their noses at her and openly gawk. it only makes Mira laugh. Their conversation is smooth sailing from there. Zoe changes the topic to something about wanting to go paragliding sometime in the summer with them, and Mira brings up how she wants to take them both to a nice museum that she went to in Florence as a child. It's nice. By the time that they finish the dishes and cleaning up in the living room, the morning sun has already morphed into a brighter scatter of rays. Mira rummages through one of their drawers to pluck out their sunscreen, and Rumi goes to find some sunglasses and bottles of water. Zoe is stabbing their ice tray to get the ice out. Their disguises are simple, but effective. Rumi has never stopped marveling at the power of sunglasses and hats, and how it always seems to conceal them from the greater part of the world. Zoe is showing them more of the ship posts on her phone. She and Mira keep snickering at some of them, teasing the fans for incorrect characterizations and misunderstandings of certain Zoe-Mira fan cams. Rumi tries to join in as much as she can. Her jokes always fall flat. My girl is third wheeling in her own relationship. Zoe's phone freezes, and Bobby's face fills the screen. Rumi's shoulders sag in relief. They press on the accept button, and they simultaneously greet, "Hi, Bobby!" Hey, guys. What is Bobby's voice? I'm trying to remember Ken Jeong's. Hey, guys. Bobby's voice chirps over the phone. There's some shuffling on the other end, and some talking in the background, and Rumi makes an educated guess that he's somewhere in the Sunlight Entertainment building. It's also probably the reason why he isn't video calling them. The Wi-Fi at the company building sucks. I know you have the afternoon off, but I just want to check up on my favorite girls. Everything okay over there? Yes, sir, Zoe says, bobbing her head up and down, even though Bobby can't see. We're getting groceries right now, actually, Rumi volunteers, and Zoe brings the phone closer to her lips so that Bobby can hear her some more. Ooh, fun, Bobby says thoughtfully. More shuffling on his end. They forge on down the street, and Rumi can see the sign of the nearby convenience store near the corner. Hey, I was going to bring this up the next time we were face to face, but it's been kind of crazy, huh? He laughs to himself a little nervously. The three of them share a look. They already know what he wants to ask without them needing to clarify it. Rumi asks, "Are you talking about the whole shipping thing?" Yes! Bobby sounds incredibly relieved that Rumi was the first one to say. Yes, that thing. Now, I know you said to leave it alone because it wasn't a big deal, but I just had a meeting with the executives, and Celine, Zoe and Mira slide their eyes over to Rumi in an instant to watch her, was a little, how do I put this, persistent that we be a little more proactive. Said something about how it wouldn't be good for the brand in the long run. Rumi runs the tip of her tongue over the inside of her cheek in slow circles. She keeps her eyes ahead in front of them, but she can feel Zoe and Mira's stare burning against the side of her face. She has a feeling that this is Celine's way of making it up to her, a way to take care of her, or her image, even from all the way there. She really doesn't know how to feel about it. Would those trends really affect them in the long run? Would it affect her? Which one was Celine actually most concerned about? There was no point in ruminating on more than she has to. Rumi tells Bobby, "Don't worry about it too much. You have our support in whatever you decide to go ahead with, but we're really fine. Really. It's not really a big deal for us." "Yeah," Zoe pipes up encouragingly. She holds on to Rumi's arm, leaning her cheek against her shoulder. "We're A-okay. Practically golden." Mira snickers at her joke, and she and Zoe share a giddy look. "Well, if you guys say so," Bobby says, sounding mostly convinced. He sighs, and Mira can already imagine the way he's probably pacing the room that he's in. "I miss you, girls. We'll talk soon tomorrow, okay? Make sure you load up on all the food you can get. And water is important. Promise me," he accuses. Zoe giggles. Oh, Rumi rolls her eyes fondly, and she says, "We promise, Bobby. We'll keep hydrated. Talk to you soon. And take care of each other," Bobby insists. Rumi is almost surprised at how determined he sounded with it. "Bye, girls." "Bye, Bobby," they say. The line cuts right on time. They're just a couple of feet away from the convenience store, and Zoe tugs on both of their short sleeves to get them inside as fast as possible. They groan when they pass through the slide doors. The air conditioning feels so good on their skin, and Rumi has to hold back from spreading her arms and letting her pits cool in the breeze. Mira takes one of the small baskets near the door and jerks her head toward the produce aisle. The produce aisle. They toss whatever catches their eye into the basket that Mira's holding. Pepero and choco pies? Of course. A pack of soda in a flavor that they've never had before? Obviously. The ramyun with their faces on it? They'll take 20. Soju? Well, why the hell not? Rumi can hear Zoe and Mira bickering behind her while she looks over the drinks. She turns around just in time to hear Zoe say, "Then we'll just buy some lactate. But you don't really need any once you get used to it." "Used to it?" Mira asks, perplexed and almost horrified. "How much of that stuff are you drinking for your immune system to get used to it?" "Enough," Zoe says dismissively. She shows Rumi a can of Pepsi. She flashes that innocent smile at her, and Mira is making cutting motions with her hand while she shakes her head to warn her. "What do you think, Rumi? Should we get some?" Rumi doesn't get it. What's the harm in getting soda? "Well, yeah. Do you want to drink it?" she asks, confused by their behavior. Zoe smiles and nods. "Yeah, I was gonna mix it with something good to enhance the flavors," she tells Rumi, batting her eyelashes guilelessly. Mira is staring at her, wide-eyed. Rumi ignores Mira's clear warnings and says, "Well, then I don't see why not." Zoe's smile spreads into a ferocious grin by the time she finishes her sentence, and she plops a couple cans of it into Mira's basket. Mira groans as Zoe skips away to find something else. "Am I missing the joke?" Rumi asks apprehensively. Mira points at the carton of milk in the basket, then points at the Pepsi and, "Oh, ew. Yikes." Rumi exhales through her gritted teeth. They can't take back the milk and the soda once they've let Zoe have it, though. It would crush her, and Rumi would rather take Zoe's milk soda thingy than let that happen. Reluctantly, at least. The basket that they're holding is getting full. Hunting demons meant that they had enough strength to hold it all without so much as breaking into a sweat, and they get open-mouthed gawks from certain patrons as they pass by. Rumi hopes it isn't because they're being recognized. She speaks it into existence. There's a tap on her shoulder while Rumi is passing the basket to Zoe to stuff it some more with chips, and she turns around to come face to face with a young man with braces. The fan is fiddling with her phone, and a Huntrix pop socket is stuck to the back of it like a sore thumb. I'm I'm gonna make like, "I'm so sorry, but are you guys?" Is that too mean? Is that too mean? I'm sorry. I just thought I just thought of a voice. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh my god. There's there's a video that I really like. It's like a crack video. And whenever I say like, "I'm sorry," I remember that voice. So I'm like, as soon as I saw the words "I'm so sorry," I was like, "I'm so sorry." What are you guys saying? What's death row? The Judas Cradle? What? Make sure to get the Uber driver. At this point, I recognize Arsenite from the Pilk references before I recognize the username. What? What? Oh, you're saying the electric chair for the for the soda milk thing. Anyways, I'm gonna stick with that voice because I already started. I'm so sorry, but are you guys? The fan starts. Rumi presses her forefinger against her lips to hush her, but she's smiling and nodding. The fan's eyes light up just like that. While Rumi isn't fond of being swarmed or followed, these little fan interactions always make her day, even if it meant having to put their grocery shopping on hold for a couple minutes. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! The fan silently squeaks. And Mira and Zoe come over to coo at her and protect her from any prying eyes. They take her by the hand to pull her away in an empty aisle. I can't believe I found you guys here! The fan whisper exclaims, still looking at them wide-eyed and frantic like she's afraid they could disappear from her very eyes. I'm such a big fan of your songs! Really? Zoe gushes. Zoe tilts her head at the fan, smiling so big at her that Rumi feels that orbital glow in her chest tug towards her. Zoe's smile when she sees their young fans always makes her feel warm. Can I get a picture with you guys? The fan asks. This voice is insane. The fan asks, trying to keep her voice at a minimum but failing slightly in that regard. Rumi doesn't want to quell her excitement by asking her to tone it down. If they get spotted by other fans in the area, then oh well. Of course you can, Mira says gently. Do you want us to take a shout-out video for your friends too? The fan's grin splits even wider. Rumi didn't even think it was possible. They record the shout-out video first. They say hello to the camera for the fans' two best friends and mother, who all happen to be big Huntrix fans. And then the fan fiddles with the settings on her camera app to change it to a stationary photo. Mira has the longest arms, Rumi says helpfully. She bends down to get near the height of the fan. She can take the selfie if you'd... Oh, actually... The fan interrupts, and she turns around to look at Rumi with that sheepish, apologetic smile. Rumi tilts her head. The fan scratches the side of her neck, and she says, while not really looking at Rumi, Could you actually take the picture? Zoe and Mira are my biases. Not that there's anything wrong with you, I just... Not at all, Rumi says quickly. She feels Mira and Zoe glance at her for a moment, but she waves them off with a quick smile. She's already holding out her palm for the phone. I can even take a bunch of photos from different angles for you. The fan squeals and thanks her, lending her the phone with nothing more than a bounce to her step. As promised, Rumi makes sure to get as many different photos as she can. Her tongue feels oddly dry in her mouth, even while she quietly counts down each photo for the three of them. She hands the phone back to the smiley fan. Rumi can't ever resent a fan for being happy to see them, and she doesn't. She won't. Not even when the fan exclaims, This might be the best day of my life! You have no idea! My entire friend group ships Zomira, so they're going to freak when they... Rumi tunes out the rest of her ramblings. She doesn't even think most of the fan's own words are registering to herself. It happens a lot when she rambles out of nervousness too, so she can't fault the fan for that. But Zoe asks, still as kindly, You don't want to take at least one photo with Rumi in case you want to flex that to your friends who bias her too? It's a nice way for Zoe to say, Come on, don't leave her out. Rumi glances at her with a coy smile. Oh! The fan looks up at the ceiling of the convenience store to think deeply about it. She slowly says, Well, I don't think any of my friends are Rumi biased. We all think that she's, like, the mom of the group, which is fine. I still really like you, Unni. I just thought because you were the oldest, you... It's all right, Rumi says quickly. She gives the fan a smile and lazily nods her head over to Zoe and Mira. Trust me, they really can be a handful sometimes. I bet that fan went home and like started hitting herself in the like on the face, being like, stupid, 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 why'd you say that? The mom of the group. Also, Rumi's not the mom of the group. Mira's the mom of the group. Please, let's get this straight. Rumi's the leader. Rumi might be the leader. Mira's the mom of the group. According to what I believe. Why would you ever say no, even if she isn't your fave? Why? No, like literally, just take a photo with everyone. This just in, Rumi of Huntrix is taking a 3-month break, if only she could, by herself. Okay. Yeah, I bet that fan either went home and started like hitting herself like crazy, or like in a few years she will like look back on this moment and be like, why did I do that? It happens. It has happened to me a couple of times. Never meet your idols, guys. Never meet your idols. You will embarrass yourself like crazy. Anyways, she doesn't feel the need to mention that she's only older than Mira by 6 months and Zoe by a year. It would do nothing to sway the conversation. After all, sometimes Mira and Zoe like to put that over her head too. Might as well use it to her advantage. Hey! Zoe whines. At the same time, Mira gives her a small glare that looks almost like a pout. The fan giggles. She fiddles with her phone and she waves goodbye at them. They tell her to get home safely, and she promises that she will. They get the last of what they need and get it checked out by the cashier. Rumi pays with her card, and there Zoe and Mira help bag everything up. It reminds her of what the fan said, the mom of the group. It makes her frown. It's not the first time it's been said about her. Being the oldest always comes with being perceived as the most responsible. Even if there is videos of Mira taking her tipsy body away from the Golden Globes. Even when Zoe has been more open about being the one who needs to rush them both to get ready before concerts. Even when Rumi likes to watch anime and cartoons in her free time more than she cares to admit. Guys, she's so real. She is so real. She is so real. Hey, like, anime and cartoons are just like better TV usually. Sorry. Okay. Somehow that trending hashtag makes sense. The mom of the group sears her chest like a brand. It's not so bad by itself, but coupled with Zoe and Mira into the mix, what does that say about how people view their relationship to them? How many times have the media called her Huntrix's big sister, and how many times had Zoe and Mira thought it too? She almost loses herself in the white-hot pang of it, until Zoe giggles as they cross the street, and she echoes, the mom of the group, Rumi? The mom of the group, Rumi? Yeah, she's a mom, all right. Mira snorts. She swipes Rumi's hand away from carrying the bag by herself. The sexy kind. Like a MILF? Zoe asked. Guys, speaking of MILFs, I hear that there's a new fanfic. There's a new Polytrix fic that takes place 20 years after the events of the movie, and it has a MILF tag. No, sorry, I'm gonna mention this real quick because I was like fangirling about this. So the RP accounts, the the Two's company role-playing accounts know of me, and one of them reached out to me being like, did you hear that there's a MILF fanfic? And I was like, I hadn't heard of it, but I'll look it up. And I found it. The name is, oh my god, it's in my phone. It's in my phone. Wait, actually, let me find it through my through my Twitter, because I did send it to them. Give me a second. My milkshake brings all the... Okay, let me find it. Okay, here's the link. Wait, I think I was reading that last. Apparently, it's being talked about. It's by Simp for Girls, which I've heard that username before, and it's called "Can You Tell Me What's My Flavor?" So yeah, it's a smut film. It's an eventual smut fic. So if you're into that, go crazy. Anyways, I was like, oh, cool. Seems interesting. No, it genuinely, the idea of a fic like that is like 20 years after the events of the movie is like really good, and I really enjoy that, and I probably will end up checking it out. Like there are 3 chapters planned, and there's only 3,000 words right now. So thank you, Queen. About to go read. Go crazy, y'all. Okay, let's keep going with this. We are coming towards the end. Oh, Rumi. Anyways, the way we got into this conversation was because Zoe said, like a MILF? Rumi yelps at her words. She turns to look at her so quickly that Mira just starts cackling, and Zoe only bats her eyelashes at her like it's the most normal thing she's ever said in the world. When they get home, they mix putting away the groceries and singing some karaoke together. It's a nice change of pace, and it takes Rumi's mind off the fan from the store. They spend the rest of the time watching a couple movies together. One's about vampires and questionable romance, but they're invested enough to keep watching. Just say Twilight. Just say they're watching Twilight. By the time the sun sets, they're already nearing the end of the last fifth movie. Rumi feels like she'd gone through a roller coaster of emotions, worse than when they'd gone on an actual roller coaster a couple weeks ago. Zoe's the one to remind her about needing to get there in time for her photo shoot. Mira lazily dangles her car keys from a finger, and she doesn't take no for an answer, even with Rumi's insistence that she could just ask someone from their team to chaperone her. We need to make sure that you get there in one piece, Mira says to her with a shrug, and Zoe eagerly nods her head. The photo shoot itself isn't so bad. It's the same run-of-the-mill advertising shoot, with people and photographers praising her for looking so good on camera, and assistants fanning her face if it got too hot under the lights. Her vision had nearly gone white with all the flashing lights against her eyeballs. But all the uncomfortability from being under the stare of a lens and the hot lights doesn't compare to how her mind runs. She's distracted. What's Zoe and Mira doing right now without her there? Are they actually going through with choreographing together? Or are they using it as an excuse to spend some giddy, happy time without her? It's a ridiculous thought, especially when they just watched an entire 5-part movie that entire afternoon on their couch, but she can't help it. They must be having fun without me, she thinks. What if they wish they could leave her out on purpose sometimes? Do they miss when she'd lock herself in her room before they learned about her patterns? The lights flash against her eyes one more time, bringing after images of purple floaties in her vision. She startles. Need a break, Rumi? The photographer calls out. She shakes her head and gives them a demure smile. Very demure. Gives them a demure smile. Someone snaps a photo of it. I'll be fine, she calls back. It takes a bit longer than she anticipates. This particular photographer is more nitpicky when it comes to her positions and how she holds the perfume bottle, but she doesn't really mind it. She likes when people tell her things straight up. It stops her from thinking too much. The lights flash again and again. Then it stops, and the photographer peeks his head from the side with that satisfied smile she's known from other photographers and directors she's worked with. He's happy with the result. Rumi groans and scratches her scalp with her fingernails as she makes her way into the trailer. At least the robe they gave them is silky and smooth. She collapses against the makeup chair and sinks into it. Honestly, if she closed her eyes right now, she could probably go to sleep for a couple hours. But alas, she still needs to get her makeup off. She fishes for her phone out of her pocket. She swipes away a couple of notifications and greedily looks for Zoe and Mira's names. They like to spam her a lot when they're apart from each other for one thing or another. It's always been one of her favorite things about checking her phone after a long solo project. but there aren't any texts from them. Just one, and it's from their group chat, and it's incredibly succinct. We miss you, heart, the three heart. It still quirks the corner of her mouth up in amusement. They sent it about an hour ago. She tries not to get too disappointed with their lack of texts, because after all, maybe they'd been too busy rehearsing their choreographies or going over raps, and definitely not because they were swinging their hands together and nibbling each other's ears, or she checks the trending page out of curiosity. Sue her. And to her greatest surprise, it's not hashtag Zomira trending at number 1 anymore. In fact, it's down to number 5. Instead, there are few other hashtags on top of it. Bold and loud and proud. Hashtag Rumi is royalty. Hashtag Queen Rumi. Hashtag Goddess Rumi. Hashtag Ryu Rumi. Confused, Rumi taps on one of the hashtags. It's a billion different posts about how pretty she looks. Many of the posts share old pictures of her from different movies, posters, ads, fan cams, and everything in between. She's used to people calling her pretty online, but she's not used to it trending like this, unless it was after a promotion. The teaser photos from her photo shoot just half an hour ago haven't even caught wind yet. What the hell would have prompted it? And then she scrolls down a little more and she finds out who, exactly, had caused the spike in searches for her. More specifically, which 2 people did. Zoe and Mira had been posting her on both of their accounts. Zoe with bold letters and exclamation marks, and Mira with her abundance of fire emojis and devil horns. It's nothing preachy that they share, just words that coo over how pretty she is, how great she is, how much they love her. She's almost half surprised that the other tag isn't trending right now. But once again, she speaks too soon. One little glimpse at the trending page shows her that it's slowly climbing back up the ranks, and she can't help but laugh to herself in her trailer. Before she turns off her phone to focus on taking off her makeup, she catches sight of one random post on her timeline. It's a fan who simply posts, "I think the biggest Rumi fans are Zoe and Mira." It makes her smile. Most importantly, it makes her feel accepted and loved. And if hashtag, God, what was the ship name again, was a true solid thing, then maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. Mira and Zoe would still find ways to make her feel wanted with them. They'd accept her in any way she is, and in any way that they are too. And it would be selfish of her, she thinks quietly, to ask them to give her more of them than she already has. Bobby makes sure to call someone to chaperone her back to the apartment. By the time she opens the door and groans something unintelligible about her photo shoot, Mira and Zoe are already looking at her from the couch with those smiles she adores so much. The smiles that she has always loved to come home to. "Rumi!" Zoe says happily. "We miss you," Mira adds, more placid than Zoe, but just as sincerely. She groans loudly, walking over to them until her exhaustion comes hard and fast, and she ends up planting herself face first in between them on the couch. Mira and Zoe had already separated to give her the room, like they'd anticipated it. "We made some food with some wicked combos," Zoe says excitedly, pointing at the buffet on the coffee table in front of them. They're watching some sort of K-drama on the TV. We haven't eaten anything, though," Zoe adds like an afterthought. "Why not?" Rumi asks. She looks down at the food and finds herself salivating. How long has it been out there without them touching it? And most importantly, why? Mira shrugs as she says, "Because we wanted to try it with you and see your reaction with us. Duh." Zoe nods with a smile. She squeezes Rumi's dead arm with so much vigor that it somehow brings her back to life. "It's not a fair rating if we don't all rate it at the same time," she chimes in. Rumi's laughter is breathless, giddy even. Well, now that I'm here, I guess it's time to dig in, she says lightly. Mira and Zoe are already scrambling their way over to the table. Mira groans over her shoulder. I've been waiting for you to say that since you came in. The food is a little cold. Mira and Zoe don't say anything about it, and nothing on their faces denote any sort of complaint. They spent the rest of the night laughing and talking. Ooh, sorry. It rejuvenates her exhaustion from the photo shoot, just like the way a flower soaks up the sun. At some point, while they're eating, Rumi makes a pun about the food, and Mira replies with a sarcastic, really funny, princess. Zoe gasps so loud that Rumi had thought she was choking on something for a good half second. Her bowl clatters as she sets it down on the table to look at Mira, who's already looking back at her, half mortified and half combative. Don't. Mira warns. You let the fanfics get to your head! Real. Everyone should call Rumi princess all the time. Everyone should call Rumi princess all the freaking time. You let the fanfics get to your head! Zoe cries, eyes wide. Rumi almost chokes on her rice. Zoe's smile turns sly as she adds, You've been thinking about it this whole time, huh? What? No, what? I was joking about it. I was just making fun of the name. I didn't mean it like I was actually... Mira defends, shoulders up and tense. Rumi watches the way her eyes dart away from them each time she speaks, and it makes a snicker come from the back of her throat. You were totally thinking it, Zoe argues. There's a sparkle in her eye. It's sly and giddy. Or you were reading more fanfics and it slithered into your brain. Oh my god, I wasn't. Mira throws her arms up in frustration. She turns to look at Rumi, eyes wide. Dude, back me up. Saying dude isn't gonna change that Zoe starts. You heard the way I said it, right? Mira barrels on like Zoe wasn't actively grinning at her. She almost sounds desperate for Rumi to hear her out. I was being sarcastic. It's called a joke, Zoe. Yeah, I guess, Rumi says. She taps her chin and pretends to think. I kinda liked it, though. It suits you, Jagia. She enjoys the way Mira gapes at her and how Zoe starts to laugh so hard she falls off balance and has to lean against the coffee table. It makes her grin to herself, the inane kind of grin, the one that stretches across her face and the one that she doesn't have to worry about showing it in front of a camera. It's a smile that only ever appears around Mira and Zoe, and often near their couch. The pair continue to bicker in front of her. She lets them figure it out. She just rests her head on Mira's shoulder and extends her leg until their shin presses against Zoe's thigh. She closes her eyes. She doesn't remember falling asleep there. She just remembers waking up with the sun filtering through the half-opened blinds and the three of them cuddled up on the couch. It's a miracle that they manage to fit and stay balanced. She's squished between the both of them, and it's hard to breathe, but she lets herself sink further into the cushions to catch some more sleep before her alarm inevitably goes off. There's a blanket on top of her too, and a strand of her hair is tucked out of her face. It's so sweet. That's the end of the chapter. I'm gonna read the notes. Okay, next chapter will be up next week. Features Zoe, New York. In New York, concrete jungle. Okay, Rumira flirting and argument that gets resolved because they're in love. Oh, isn't fluff so fun to read? This was so sweet. Wait. They're literally in love. We know this. Concrete jungle where dreams are... Guys, if you live in New York, you get fucking sick of that song. They are playing it everywhere, like especially like if you have to like pass by Times Square all the time. First of all, Times Square is where dreams go to die. And if you like pass through there all the time, like all the like what is it called? The horse carriages. All the horse carriages. It's so annoying. All the horse carriages are playing that song, and they're also like these like tourist attraction thingies where like there are these uh platforms where they like take like slow motion video of you that like where the camera goes around like this, and they're all playing Empire State of Mind, and it's like, oh my god, I'm sick of this song. I don't want to hear it anymore. I think that's when people are allowed to be happy. The city is so annoying. I bet everyone who is not living in New York would be like, no, it feels like like I would not get annoyed from it because like New York is like the place where dreams are made, and it's like, no, it's so annoying. Hi, Spider. Fluff, what kind of dark magic is that? Real. Dreams die here. Oh my god, Zin, are you also in New York? Are you also in New York? Oh my god, Reef is here. Hi. Hi. Wait, you're going to college, right? What college are you going to, Zen? Canceling my plans to go to NYC. Don't do that. Don't do that. Also, I pulled up your Buffalo State University. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Me also college, but only online right now. I've been already too busy cranking out fanfics. NYC has a lesbian bar though. See, here's the thing about the like gay bars and lesbian bars in NYC. I love that they exist. I don't think I've actually been to a gay bar or a lesbian bar in NYC just because I'm not a bar person. Like I am so not a bar person. Like I know the Cubby Hole. I know the what's it? Yeah, what is it called? Oh my god, I forgot. What's the other lesbian bar called? Anyways, I'm old. Please. I am not even like that old, I don't think. I just like feel tired all the time. I had to peace out earlier because I haven't read the Unchanging Polaris yet, but I was supporting. Oh, thank you. It's really fun. And I've only read like chapter 3 now, so I've just stepped on glass. Ow. I'm sorry. I'm healing you with my magic brain powers. She forgot. I forgot. I unfortunately have to go adult. Bye, y'all. Bye, Rose. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm actually, now that we're done with the chapter, I'm gonna read Zin's Artie Sauce fic. I'm literally stuck in Doomed Yuri IRL. IRL? Ooh, wishing you the best of luck. Oh my god. Okay, so this fic is called "We Tossed Rinds in the Air Together" by Zentrix. And like some of the let me read some of the tags. Crackship is the first tag, which thank you. Thank you for that. Orange Nation Rise, Artie Sauce was made from lack of sleep and crack energy. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. Aren't we all? Alternate Universe, College University, coffee shops and cafes, author X streamer, unnecessary brick throwing probably, Lele the Turtle, of course, Artie Sauce Freeform, strangers to friends to IDK, but the aura is queer, queer platonic friendships, we love. IDK, what's going on here, but fuck it, we ball, IG. No beta, we die like Gnu. Classic. I did not and probably will not beta read this, so apologies in advance. Apology accepted. Wait, what's happening? I unfortunately am not doomed, Yuri. My GFNMe just hit 6 years! Oh my god, congratulations! Oh my god! Oh, queer platonic arty sauce, my beloved. That is also my favorite type. Okay, let's go. Summary. A crack fic between a professional brick thrower, toss lots of sauce, and the face of the Orange Nation, Artsy Zara. That's me! Chapter 1. A citrus interaction. Summary. The brick thrower and the orange leader first meet. Notes. I'm writing this during a college fire meeting, a live stream, and I have no clue what I'm doing, but we'll see. It'll probably be multiple chapters, but relatively short. Also, anything that seems rude, I promise, is not meant to seem that way. This is all pure fun and jokes. Gotcha. Okay. This is why it takes me so long to... Oranges? The girl questioned as she stared at the chat on the live stream. I'm sorry, what are the oranges? And that is in reference to where it started, where it all started. Artie Zara, or Artie as most knew her, was currently sat in her thankfully single dorm room. She was reading a fanfiction of her current hyperfixation, the title being Two's Company, but They Want a Crowd. Zara had been reading a particular scene that kind of tormented her soul by how it was written. She had looked for a moment to see her chat's reactions, only to see orange emojis spammed all throughout the screen. Guys, what are the oranges? She questioned again before bursting out into laughter. Everyone role-playing in the chat with the oranges right now. I love the world. I love the world. And I love you guys. Let's go. The reference made no sense to her yet, but she laughed along anyway, the chat claiming she would understand it soon enough. Although the chat did continue to spam oranges as she spiraled over the dark-toned, ambiguous writing of the current chapter, retreating to the comforting and safe space that is being hidden behind her chair as the chat revealed in knowing something that she didn't. She did eventually understand the orange reference as she continued to read about the loser lesbians eating oranges in a bathroom. Beautiful. So that's what the oranges were about. That was not funny, guys, but I'm relieved it was nothing bad. Artie laughed along as the chat continued to spam oranges. The fruit now seemingly becoming a running joke within the live chat group. Hashtag Orange Nation being sent more than a multiple times, as well as the still continuous stream of triple orange emojis. Artie simply went along with the fun, somehow getting deemed the president of Orange Nation as the live started coming to an end. I guess we're Orange Nation now, guys, so later, Orange Nation, see you guys next live, she said happily, going to end the live. She did catch one of the comments as soon as she pressed the end button. Zin, you should buy something orange related in celebration. Artie thought about it for a moment. It wasn't a bad idea per se. A small little celebration on somehow becoming the president of an unexpected little fandom. There just happened to be a small cafe near the house, just down by the block. There, the more she I'm correcting it. The more she thought about, the more Yeah, you didn't beta read this. The more she thought about, the more the woman began to laugh at herself. It was a silly idea, really, but it couldn't really hurt. Yeah, something small is in order for this strange occasion. So just like that, Artie slipped on her shoes, grabbed her stuff, and headed out. The walk was calm, the warmth provided by sun giving a welcoming soothe A welcoming soothe, unlike the brick soup that was thrown at her merely minutes ago. Though it is cut short when she arrives at the cafe, a cozy little cafe tucked on a street corner, fairy lights both inside and outside creating a soft, whimsical aesthetic. Artie stepped inside and was met with the surprisingly well mixed scent of coffee and various sweets. The establishment was relatively empty, give or take a few people. Approaching the counter, she took in the appearance of the barista in front of her, a female about the same height as her, maybe taller. Hair half tamed under a beanie with the cafe logo and a mask placed around her face. The female's name tag read Sauce, and she looked just about ready to fall asleep at the counter. Welcome to the Sweetened Bricks Cafe. What can I get you today? No, let me do a voice for Toss. Last time I did a lower voice, so let's do a different voice. Welcome to the no, that's I want to give her a nice voice. Welcome to the Sweetened Bricks Cafe. What can I get you today? Toss asks Toss Sauce asked tiredly. Sweetened Bricks? Kind of a strange name for a cafe, Artie thought to herself, but didn't mention it. Artie gave her order a simple citrus iced tea and a cake pop. Sauce had taken the order and instructed her to wait by the other end of the counter. While waiting, Artie couldn't help but think a few things, most relating to how hilariously ridiculous her reason for even coming here was, the others relating to the strange cafe name and its oddly familiar, tired barista. Order for Artie. Her train of thought was broken by a shout as she looked up at Sauce sliding her items over. Thank you. That's when she decided to blurt out the question that occupied her mind at that very moment. Why is the place called Sweetened Bricks? Sauce actually didn't answer, only reaching down to the lower part of the counter. Initially, Artie had assumed that the female didn't. It's so weird that you keep referring to her as the female. Like, I guess whatever. Typical fanfic lingo. I just think. Initially, Artie had assumed that the female didn't know and was about to hand her a straw to get her out faster. All her thoughts are stopped when she's hit square in the forehead with small, soft. Wait, what? What? When she's hit square in the face with something small and soft and that smells like sugar. Instinctive, she caught it and was immediately confused, staring at the pocket-sized foam brick in her hands. It was squishy, kind of cute, and smelled like a hug from a sugar factory. A soft chuckle broke her train of thought. Finally looking up, she notices Sauce with what she assumes is an amused expression under her mask. That's why. Artie lets out a quiet laugh, somewhere between a soft breath and a chuckle before pocketing the brick and grabbing her items. Sauce leans on the counter and gives what seems like a friendly smile, though it is hard for Artie to be sure. Thanks for coming to Sweeten Bricks. Come again. As Artie started to make her way back home, sipping the surprisingly good drink, she couldn't help but smile to herself when thinking back on the interaction with the barista. But something else occupied that same thought space. Why was she so familiar? I kept the brick. I kept the brick. Thank you, Nat. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm being hit with roses right now. Thank you. Orange plushie cannon? It's a foam brick cannon. I don't know, I learned from Wattpad. Dude, it's okay. We keep bricks here. Notes. This is purely a crack fic. Please, nobody take it seriously. Big shout out to Artie Zara, Orange Nation president, for her live streams. Also, and big shout outs to Toss Lots of Sauce, the official brick thrower, for the brick filled soup that is Two's company. And big shout outs to my other people in the Orange Nation because we are a crazy bunch. You guys are. And if you saw me give myself a cameo, no, you didn't. Hey, no one's judging you. No one's judging you. Nice. Do you have any? Okay. I'm. Okay. Nah, bro, soon. You love us and can't be rid of us now, Artie. Oh, there's a comment. Gotta love a good crack fic. What comment should I leave? Um, Hi, Zen. Ride or die for Orange Queen. I need to get oranges on this live sometime. It's just that because like oranges are like I don't know, there's aren't like oranges like a winter fruit, so there's we just haven't been buying oranges. We have a lot of watermelon. Have we started? We just finished reading. I'm going to get Lele the Turtle a crown. Are you gonna read the new chapter of Do It Thrice? I am gonna read it sometime. I'm reading When the Sky Breaks West right now. I'm reading that new chapter, and I'm hoping, guys, I don't know. I like oranges cut up a very specific way I learned in culinary school. You went to culinary school? Reef lore drop. Reef lore drop. Oh my god. How do you cut it? Do you I like to cut it. Thank you. I like to cut it if this is the orange and the like ends are on this side. I like to cut it this way and then I open it up like this and eat it. I'm in culinary school. Hell yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I was in a quarter end meeting for my corporate job. How dare they keep me away? Oh my god. The people in this chat are crazy. Like the variety is crazy. Like we have high schoolers and then we have like college students and then we have like we have like people with corporate jobs. We have parents. It's crazy. You just gain so much aura for the way you eat an orange. Thank you. That's the fun way to eat it. You open it up and it's like little triangles like this and you like bite the little triangles. This fandom spans all people. I'm glad I was here for this because I have class in 10 minutes. Oop! Go to your class, bro. Wait, I didn't see. I'm a social media manager for a corporation by day, fanfic feed by night. Real as hell. How do you eat? Okay, this is the orange. These are the ends of the orange. I like cut up the ends. And I like cut up the ends and like cut those in half and eat those like that. And then for the middle, I like cut it into like, I usually like cut it into like 3 pieces. So it's like 3 rings, and then I take the ring and I open it up like this. And it looks like, if I ever eat oranges in this stream, then I'll show it to you guys. I literally cook in all aspects of life, Artie. I'm a bartender. I work on a train in Alaska. Oh my god. You work on a train as a bartender? Or are those separate jobs? I'm slaying polytrix wigs. Reef-riding multi-talented. Period. Why would you even cut them? They literally come pre-cut. Well, I buy them whole. I don't buy them pre-cut. I do. No, on the train. That's crazy. Doing bartending on the train is crazy. Like, I'm trying to... Have I ever been in a train with a bar before? That's wild. That's awesome. I'm old, mid-30, a nanny, and an in-home caregiver. Slay. Also, guys, I I'm gonna like say this to Danny. I know I'm 23 years old. Let me put this out there. But I've worked with like people in their 30s, in their 40s, like as an actor mostly. And people in their 30s love to be like, "Oh my god, I'm old. I'm ancient." And I'm like, "You guys aren't old. You guys aren't old, god damn it." I just finished my apprenticeship. Hell yeah. Hardy, my friend, messages me every day, and most times I say I'm watching you. Thank you. They said they'll wait for the live to end before they call. Oh my god. I don't want to keep you waiting. College student, bartender, fanfic writer, dedicated girlfriend, many aspects to me. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. I don't know how you do it. I do not know how you do it. Like, I am not doing anything right now because, like, right now I'm having visa troubles, guys. I'm trying to go back to New York. So I'm not doing anything. And even then, I feel like, I don't know, my brain is everywhere. So the fact that you can balance all that is crazy. Refrighting the whole package, girl, wild. Finish the Swiss equivalent of a high school diploma. Hell yeah. Hashtag bring Artie back. Hashtag bring Artie back, guys. I need to come back so bad. I'm barely sleeping. So sad. Oh my god, why would you come back to US? Runaway. You think Turkey is in a good situation right now? Here's the thing. You go to the US and you're like, "Oh my god, everything sucks." You come to Turkey and then you're like, "Oh my god, everything sucks." Like, there is no good place. I'm in Florida. I'm biased. Fair. Where in Florida are you? Because my uncle has a restaurant in Florida. My uncle has a Turkish restaurant in West Palm Beach. Come to Switzerland. Oh my god, I live in Florida, bruh. Just in Alaska for the summer. Woo! Learning so much. Orlando. Gotcha. Oh my god. I've never been to Orlando. I've been to West Palm Beach and I've been to Miami in Florida. St. Augustine, bro. Where's St. Augustine? I can't wait. St. Augustine. Pull up a map. But yeah, I get the whole like Florida issues. It is a bit nicer in New York. Like, hopefully Zohran will be the mayor. Hopefully Zohran will be the mayor and save us all. But yeah, it's rough. I really shouldn't be saying these online because the government is checking my social media. I'm pretty sure, but so anyway, St. Augustine, Florida. I'm from Brazil. Hell yeah, shout out Brazil. I went to a protest after the KPDA showing LMAO real as hell. I have a double citizenship. Ireland and Poland has its perks. That does sound nice. Like, first of all, if you have like a European citizenship, that just already gives you so many perks. I'll be transferring to UCF for my bachelor's, not me exposing myself. Yo, I'm 10 minutes from there. Wait. I'm from Peru. Haha, rise South American people. Woo! Wait, okay, let me pull up a little map. The thing is, one of my best friends is from Miami. So, if I ever go back there, I'm trying to understand this. UK over here. Hell yeah. Shout out UK gang. Wisconsin here. Meetup happening when? I'm from Seattle. Wow. I swear my parents cannot stay in one country for more than a decade. Seattle is awesome. I used to work with well, I used to work with some people who were based in Seattle during the COVID era when they launched a virtual theater company. So, but I've never been there. Um, St. Augustine Beach. Looking at the map and learning. Looking at the maps and learning. I changed my mind. I'm staying till class. Zin, go right now. Zin, go to your class right now. I'm not going to be blamed for you missing class. I'm already being blamed for like causing a lot of you guys to like not go to sleep. Go to class right now. I want to work on Brightline. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Brightline to Orlando and meet up with Reef and I. Nah, bro, get your education. Go get your education. Education is important, even though many people will tell you otherwise. No one's blaming me for that. I lost count how many classes I skipped to watch the lives. Guys, go to your classes. Are you kidding me? Bison. Or maybe they are. Oh my god, I read chapter 30 and 31 of Two's Company yesterday. I'm still screaming and crying. The thing about Two's Company is that they're going to be fine. They're literally going to be fine. They just need some time. They just need some time. But they're going to fall asleep with Mira on the call. They're going to be fine. Nah, I'm on a bus right now. Don't worry about it, Queen. Good. Please don't miss any classes for these lives. I just sit in my classes and act like I pay attention. I guess it depends. It really depends. Wait, chapter 31, there's a new one? Imagine that I said nothing. There is a chapter 31. Imagine that I said nothing. Oop. At least all I'm skipping is social obligations. Y'all out here skipping actually important work. No, like literally, guys. Please go to your classes. I have a bachelor's. Please go to your classes. Education is important. Well, it depends on the person. It does depend on the person. But for me personally, I felt it was very important. I've been writing fanfics behind my bar. Real as hell. Real as hell. I work as an usher, so sometimes, and we can't use our phones. But I work as an usher at this like music concert hall, and by music I mean classical music. So sometimes when I'm like not feeling up to like listening classical music, I'll just like have a little notepad and I'll write some scripts, I'll write fan fiction, I'll write whatever because I can't do that. My friend who like writes fan fiction also like works with me, so like he writes a lot of fan fiction at work. It's okay for me to actually help. You can do it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm chilling. Real. Nah, I'm watching this while I work. The fact that a lot of, like, some of you guys watch this, like, during lectures and, like, during work is crazy to me. Depends on what job it is, obviously, but I sold my soul to corporate life. This is my break. Real. Oh. Okay. Okay, guys. It is 10 p.m. here. And I said that I would go to sleep yesterday. And I ended up going to sleep late again. So, do we have any closing song requests? I was thinking of something while I was reading, but then I forgot. We love you. I love you. Oop, go to sleep. I'm working technically. She's watching KPDH again. Oh, isn't that the best when you're looking after children? I was like looking after my like little cousin and like one of our like family friends' daughters, and we were just watching like Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and then we were watching like the Hot Wheels cartoon, and I was just like I was fangirling over Patrick Stump, okay? We are all enjoying the same thing, but we're enjoying different aspects. Honey Revenge mentioned. Where? Bye, Artie. Bye, Aitlin, if you're leaving. If you want peek into my fanfic, try favorite song by Honey Revenge. Gnarly by Cat's I Dare You. Oh my god. Let me play both. Oh, I guess I can. Let's do Gnarly and... Which one first? Okay, let's do Gnarly because Gnarly's short. And then I'll do favorite song by Honey Revenge. I went to a Honey Revenge concert back in New York. I mainly went because they were playing with Daisy Grenade, which Daisy Grenade is one of my favorite bands. But they were the headliner, so I do know Honey Revenge. Gnarly. Everything's gnarly.